Hey everyone, it's Caleb from Brickloaf, and in preparation of the Kenobi series, I'm going to be reviewing the two Inquisitor sets, the Captain Rex's ATTE and the TIE Advanced prototype. Now, I am using a new camera, so bear with me with any changes you may see in the filming, but let's get right into it. So beginning with the TIE Advanced prototype, set number 75082, this set is based off of the Rebels TV series, and it came out in January 2015. It came with 3 figures, totaled at about 355 pieces, and sold for $40 in the United States. The first character we're going to look at here is the Grand Inquisitor, and this set is loosely based off of an episode from the Rebels TV show with his TIE fighter. You can see he's got the torso, legs, and head. He's also got a helmet and shoulder armor as well as his lightsaber. That lightsaber hilt did come with the other Inquisitor figure, but everything else on this figure is unique to him. The helmet and the shoulder armor is different than it is with the other Inquisitor. Obviously the head and the prints on the legs and torso are different. Obviously it looks like he's wearing his suit. The armor has Imperial logos on it, and it looks like shoulder pads as well. And the helmet can come off with that really cool red visor up front and show his face, which is just one-sided because he doesn't have any hair or anything, so you can't have anything on the back. It will be interesting seeing how different the figures are for the new Kenobi series. I know that there's the fifth brother and the Grand Inquisitor there, as well as the newest one, but it'll be interesting to see how the figures have changed and also to see the effect that it has on the price of the figure. Next up is an Imperial Tie Pilot, and I think that this is one of my least favorite versions of this character. We've had quite a few of them, but as you can see, there's no leg printing. The torso printing is different than most, but it is a lot more basic than those, especially the back. It really just doesn't have much at all. There's no arm printing. The hands are all black. Those are obviously not unique at all in any way. And the helmet is the same design of the helmet mold. The printing is slightly different, though this helmet was used in a few other sets. I'm still not a fan of the open back of the helmet, especially when it uses this figurehead that's light tan, because when you look at the back you can see the exposed part of the head. When you have the Stormtrooper figures, the helmet goes all the way around and you can't see the head, so I don't understand why they didn't make it a full mold. But this is a nice figure because you don't get too many TIE pilots. I just wish it would have been a little more detailed with some more printing and a little bit of a design change. The last figure from the set is the Imperial Officer, and this one is based on the Rebels version, so he's in the tan suit rather than the gray that you usually see in sets like the Death Star or the Star Destroyers. I really love the head on this one specifically. You can see the eyes kind of have that shading underneath. It's one of my favorite Imperial heads that they've used in any of the Star Wars sets. The components of this figure are unique to this character, but he did appear also in another set from the Rebels line, but it was only one other, and I think that still makes him pretty rare. The value of the figure is about $7 to $10 used or new. You can see there's not a whole lot of printing, especially on the legs, there's none, but there is a little bit on the front and back of the torso. His rank according to the chest is either a captain, a colonel, or a commander based on what I can find on Wikipedia, and the hat does have some printing as well, so all in all, a really great figure. The only build of this set is the TIE Advanced prototype itself, which has foldable wings. It can actually rest either with the wings up or down, and there are lots of stickers on the set. I'm only missing one on the top, and you can see this little knob in the back. You can turn it left and right, each one activating one of these spring-loaded missiles. Those missiles and the foldable wings are pretty much the only play feature of this set. There is a little hatch on top that you can open, as well as the front port. There is enough room in there to sit the Inquisitor or the TIE Pilot, whichever you prefer, and their little control panel is just a dark gray droid torso. There isn't a whole lot of detail on the inside except for that little control panel there. This is actually a really good build. It looks just like it did in the series, and it doesn't need a whole lot of playability features. It is somewhat difficult to get it to stand on the wings. You got to get it angled just right and try not to push it, but a very fantastic set. Next up we have Captain Rex's ATTE Walker, and this is all the more important, especially because there's been that new teased ATTE coming out sometime soon with the Phase 2 Cody. And this is another set that's loosely based off of an episode from the Rebels TV show. Obviously the Inquisitor and the Stormtrooper weren't in the episode, but they included them anyway because a lot of these Star Wars sets have to have good guys and bad guys fighting. This is set 75157. It came out in 2016 and it did sell for $119.99. The first of our 5 figures is Captain Rex. You can see he's older here, and they did shift away from the old Clone Wars animated TV series style figurehead to the Rebels design, which does actually look a little more realistic than the Clone Wars ones did. You can see he's got a beard there, no hairpiece. There are wrinkles on the forehead. He's wearing his dirtied clone suit and then just standard dark gray pants. These pieces are all unique to this character except for the pants, obviously. I really love the expression they gave Rex on his face, and I think this is a very accurate representation of the character you see in the show. Moving on, we have Commander Wolf next, who has the same dark bluish gray pants, and this time he has his own dirtied armor, but he's wearing black arms instead of the white ones because his uniform is different, and his head is very similar to Rex, obviously, because he's a clone. You can see the messed up eye he's got, and he has the beard very similar to Rex, again because he's a clone, but he does have that frown expression that you do see in the show. What's interesting is he actually does have hair in the show. Why they chose not to give him a hairpiece is interesting to me, but it is a very accurate figure otherwise, and it's great that they made him unique. And the last clone is Gregor, and this is the one that was the most different in the TV show, so obviously his figure is the most different. You can see the pant color is different. He's got a sleeveless shirt on rather than dirtied armor, and he doesn't have the beard on because he didn't have one in the show, nor did he have hair, but his face is very similar otherwise in design to the previous clones. You can see his eyes and the wrinkles on the forehead. They're pretty much exactly the same as what you see on the other clones. I have absolutely no complaints about the figures from this set. I think they're all very accurate, and they all are very unique in their own way, and without those three, because they owned the ATTE in the show, without those three included in this set, it wouldn't have been complete, so great job there. And our first villain we have here is the fifth brother. You can see that his robes are different than the Inquisitor robes in the Grand Inquisitor, as well as his armor, which is different than the Grand Inquisitor. It is shaped differently, and it does have Imperial logos, but the prints are slightly different. They're positioned differently, and it does still hold the lightsaber on the back. Everything in this character, except for the lightsaber hilt and the pieces to it, are unique to this character. His head is double-sided, and it's a very accurate figure. It looks just like the one in the series. One side of his head is a mad face, and the other is just kind of with his mouth shut. I do think his character's hat is the weirdest Lego helmet we've seen before. I know that it's more of a character issue than it is a Lego issue, which is why I'm not really complaining about it at all. It does come off really easily because of the way it's shaped, so there's no complaints there. I do think that the print on this fifth brother's character is more interesting than that on the Grand Inquisitor, and because this character has a helmet that covers the back of his head, they were able to do a double-sided mold on his figure's head, which I thought was really cool. And the other villain of this set is just a standard Stormtrooper. Most of the figure here, including the legs, torso, and head, have been used in other Stormtroopers, but this helmet specifically is unique to the Rebels series. You only see this specific figure in about 6 different sets, and they're all Rebels themed sets. The distinguishing features here are that the face of the Stormtrooper helmet does look a little bit more cartoonish than the regular ones that you see, and you've got the blue vents on the side that are really noticeable as well. If you look closely on this figure, you'll notice that the eye prints are actually higher than where they're supposed to be. You can see the little indentation where the eyes are supposed to be, and they've actually got the eyes printed higher. They're up on that top upper black line. So that is a misprint. I actually own another TIE Pilot figure, and that print on the helmet is also messed up, so I don't know what was up with the quality control at that time, because these are the only misprints that I have, so it's interesting that they happen so close together. But other than that, the figure is normal. Not an exceptionally rare figure, but if you are trying to army build, it is good to keep in mind that these Rebels troopers are different from the normal ones that you see. As far as the actual ATTE build goes, you can see a lot of scaffolding around the outside, which means you can definitely put more figures on top. You can see they've got a little landing pad here. You can put the Phantom 2 on if you do own that set. So there's a lot more areas where you can put figures up top on the display. There are 6 legs, and there's actually a handle in the center of the set that you can just grab and lift up. That feature alone is literally one of the best things I've ever seen on a Lego Star Wars set, especially because this thing is so awkwardly shaped. The legs just dangle down. You can see one there is made to look like it's rusted, and you can just sit it back down just as easily. The legs go into place, and the little handle falls back where you can't even notice it. On the front, you've got 2 main guns, one on the left, one on the right. You can rotate these however you want. You can open up the driver area and slide out the seat that you can put a figure on, and they fit in there perfectly. This is just like the one they had in the First Order transport. And you can see they've got some little guardrails on the side and on the front along the scaffolding as well. One of the most prominent features of this set is the cannon that's up on top of the set. They use this cannon in this series to basically fish for some of the creatures that are on the planet, and then they destroy it using the cannon. You can see they've done a really good job at recreating it here, and you can actually use this little spring-loaded turret there. I actually don't mind these ones so much. I prefer these spring-loaded turrets over the flick fire missiles, so it's not too bad. A really good build on the cannon there. On each side of the set, you've got these dangling arms that hold these crates, which can hold thermal detonators or blasters, and you can actually take off this back portion of the landing pad really easily, and you can see inside, which has some references to the TV show. You can also flip around the back and look at the door that's got a sticker on it that looks just like the one that is in the show, and you can pull down the ladder there so that you can access or fold it back up if you want. There is some detail on the inside, not a whole lot, but you can look at a screen that has one of the creatures that they're fishing for on it, along with a cup, some railing, and a little area you can hold binoculars or any of the weapons that the characters are holding. Other than that, there's not a whole lot here, but it is nice that they went and they put this unique sticker in there referencing something specific from the show rather than just a generic Lego screen. There's a smaller compartment underneath the gun in front of the handle that lets you open up an access port for the spring-loaded ammunition. You can just slide those in there, snap them into place, and this little yellow piece allows you to pull it out and place it easily if you want. It's definitely a useful play feature, but as a collector or display item, it's not really used by me, but it is a good use of space. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a while since the last one, but I do plan to use summer to post a lot more videos and to maybe try a few new things. Please leave a like and comment down below what you're expecting most from the Kenobi series, and be sure to subscribe to see future content.